There's one much on the video on the Inside Spurs channel. I'm Andy, your host, and Spurs have just won in the last minute, beating Chelsea 2-1 in a pre-season friendly. We're talking about Cody Gakpo being someone that we need to be really talking about, and Romero is getting closer to his departure. Plenty to talk about and get into. I'm starting with the game though because it's just wrapped up. Spurs winning 2-1 versus Chelsea. It was quite an interesting game. I think I learned myself quite a lot. Not having had a chance to sort of watch a lot of Spurs' pre-season football so far. Busy with work and what have you, and busy with life. But I watched this game from start to finish, and I thought there was quite a few really interesting things to me. Obviously, Archie Gray, more captaincy there. That's obviously something quite interesting. I thought Tonali looked good. I thought Bergvall, very, very good, actually. I thought the assurance on the ball, never looked flustered. I thought Van Hecke, it's a couple of times he's absolutely crunched Pedro. Maybe that's a Brighton thing, I don't know. But I thought good with the ball. Obviously, Ben Davies, again, can't seem to get rid of it. Can't seem to escape him, can we? But I thought Archie Gray played all things considered, from right back. I think Matisse Tell really is showing kind of an attitude and style of play to say, why are we going for three attackers? Obviously Mano Solomon was somehow playing. He needs to be moved on. I thought Kinski, again, just continuing that form that he sort of had at the back end of last season as well. And I mean, obviously looking off the bench, you've got Danso's come off the bench. Danso gets sent off about 3 minutes later. The ball gets played to him. He lets it run across his body. Pedro sort of nips in front, and he's the last man. And there you go. That's all she wrote. So Danso gets sent off. Richarlison comes on as well, and obviously Richarlison gets the winner. We see Luca Williams-Barnett come on, Malachi Hardy. We saw Rio, Mikey Moore, sorry, Jamie Donnelly. So all things considered, I think Donnelly, apologies for the last goal. I think Donnelly was the guy that has the last goal and hits the post. But, Tonali's goal comes from a cutback. It takes a wicked deflection, to be honest. Obviously, Richarlison's goal is Donnelly outside the box, weak foot, tries to sort of whip it round the goalkeeper, comes off the post. Richarlison's the one that follows it in and taps it into the empty net in the 91st minute or 92nd minute. So, look, I mean, I think if we'd come out of that game losing 2-1 and playing the way we did, I wouldn't. I know people get quite bothered because obviously it's like, it's Chelsea, it's pre-season football. But to be honest, for me, I'm not as bothered. For me, I think it was a good performance. I think, pre-season obviously is about building minutes and getting better. There's no denying that. But I do think there was plenty to learn from today. Obviously, being better quality competition, this one, there's no dig at, other games and other teams, but Chelsea obviously are the best one that we've probably played. So, I think we learnt a lot, in my opinion. I think we learnt a lot. But moving on, because let's talk a little bit about the Gakpo / Romero / situations. Paul O'Keefe a few hours ago putting out that Cody Gakpo is now a leading contender as Tottenham look to add to their attacking options, right? Interesting. 100%. Now, Romano put out 3 days ago that he says he will still keep an eye on Tottenham and Cody Gakpo. Let's see what's going to happen there if Liverpool open the doors or not. It looks like Liverpool are opening those doors. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm blown away by the deal. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I think we've been linked with worse players. I'll take Cody Gakpo over Rafa Leao, absolutely. I think anyone that really wants Rafa Leao is mostly someone who plays FIFA. It's kind of all it is. No one that's actually watched top level football at all. But in the Premier League, he's played 127 times in the Premier League. Christ, can't believe he's been here that long. He's played more in the Premier League as the Eredivisie. 32 games played, 18 goals. You're talking 50 goals, contributions. It's interesting, though, how they're going to see him. Are they going to see him as a left winger, or are they seeing him as a striker? Because obviously he played a little bit of both last season. I think that was more down to injuries with Isaac and Ekatike's injury. Now, there's reports that he's going to be Liverpool looking for around £72 million. And, that's a decent amount of money, that. And look, my attitude is always the same. It hasn't changed on this. If your manager wants someone, you've got to try and go out and get that player for him. I mean, apparently this was the guy that De Zerbi wanted, even when the Krupi stuff was happening, supposedly. And look, if De Zerbi wants someone, well, just beating Chelsea, that doesn't really happen. If De Zerbi wants someone, screw it. Why don't we give it a go? Why don't we, for once, give a manager exactly who he wants, or basically who he wants, and see what he does with it? We always give a manager maybe one player that he wants, and then 4 players that he sort of wants. Let's give a manager who he wants, and maybe let's see what change of results that might bring. On Romero, ESPN Argentina in the early hours of the morning saying that Inter and Spurs had reached an agreement for a deal of €40 million. There is chatter, I think it's Fabrizio Romano, saying that Romero's not waiting for Barcelona. He's happy to go to Inter. Barcelona haven't decided if they want to get a centre-half. And what was the last one? Alfredo Padula saying yesterday, and he's a good guy to sort of bring in here, just to sort of round off as a trifecta, that Inter and Romero have reached a preliminary agreement on personal terms. A deal is very close. So, look, it looks like it's going to happen. I think a lot of times we will say, I thought we should be getting about 50 million for him. Sometimes you kind of go, do you know what? Get the money, get the player off the books now, forget about it. Like we've done with other deals. We've not sort of tried to hold on for every single penny, and then some deals we do. It's very peculiar. This one, I'm just thinking, if you're getting about 40 million, you're removing about 200 grand a week from your wages as well. Just get it done. Get them off the books. Move on. You've got your centre-halves in. Dragicin's gone and Romero's gone. But you've got Van Hecke, you've got Senesi, you've got Mickey van der Ven, you've got Danso. In reality, it's probably all you need for this season, let's be real. Got Big Ben Davies. Thank you very much. Forgot to say about him. But, with it, I don't, it's not amazing, but you know what? Big clubs act in swift fashion, and he doesn't really have a huge market, and we can't really be demanding of a fee if the market's not there. Like, if Atletico were really wanting him, or Barca were really wanting him, then we could come to some form of loan with obligation where we get it at the back end of this season, so it still counts, and we make £50 million, for example, or 45 or whatever. There isn't that. Inter are the only team that have been definitively sitting there saying, we want him, £35 million, £40 million, whatever it is. Just think, do you know what? Do it. Get decent, favourable paying terms. Just get on with it now. And it's one less person as well, because you think, we sit here August 1st, happy 1st of the month. There is still so much work still to be done on incomings and outgoings. I know that some fans just want to buy 1 million players every single window. But there's so much work to be done on players leaving the club, like a Romero, like a Solomon, So getting another one just ticked off the list. Okay, you could probably have squeezed an extra £5 million out, but to be honest, it's not worth the hassle. Get him gone, keep moving on, keep improving. And this squad is starting to really shape and follow what De Zerbi wants. Let me know your thoughts on the game, Gakpo and Romero down below, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care. Peace.